Fiat Tipo Cross combines lifestyle looks with the option of the brand's latest and very sophisticated hybrid 48-volt engine. It's an unusual confection, but at the right price, it could have some appeal.
Obviously, this Cross model's SUV demeanour is only for show. Even light trails are really beyond its remit. And on tarmac, the smart styling won't disguise the fact that this is some way from being the sharpest handling car in its sector. But we reckon it's close enough to the class leaders to satisfy most potential buyers. This Cross Hybrid 48-volt variant's 1.5 litre unit puts out 130 horsepower and 240 Nm of torque, rests to 62 miles an hour in 9.3 seconds, and is mated to a 7-speed dual-clutch auto transmission. The propulsion system includes a built-in 48-volt, 15 kilowatt, 20 horsepower electric motor delivering 55 Nm of torque, which can propel the wheels even when the internal combustion engine is turned off, with the 1.5 litre 48-volt hybrid petrol unit we just mentioned. An engine it only offers to customers wanting this lifestyle-orientated cross-body style. This hybrid powertrain, shared with Jeep's Renegade and Compass models and Alfa Romeo's Tonale, has a mild hybrid package with a few extra tricks up its sleeve. The fact that it's based around a belt starter generator which drives the engine's stop-start system's 130 horsepower 4-cylinder 48-volt hybrid power plant unelectrified 1-litre conventional unit hybrid version certainly enough cleverness with the technology on offer to suggest that its benefits ought to be great. Situated the hybrid system's 20 horsepower electric motor in the gearbox. This one can drive the car on electric power alone. Though because the 48-volt battery that's being charged is tiny, just 0.8 kilowatts per hour in size, only at very slow speeds and only for a few hundred yards. Silent start is when you prod the start button and the car springs into life, but the engine doesn't. E-launch is where the electric motor pushes you off for the first few metres before the engine quickly springs in to help. E-creeping uses electric power where a conventional petrol auto would creep forward on tick over. E-queuing will keep you battery powered in stop-start heavy traffic, and e-parking will use electric power at parking speeds. If there's any battery charge still left over after all of this by the time you get to the open road, e-boosting will use it to help acceleration. And to help recharge said battery, recuperated energy is reclaimed when you brake. You can probably guess what that's called: e-braking. The Tipo Hybrid 48-volt when setting off. Manoeuvring and inching along in traffic queues, all of which is accomplished in impressive EV silence. Away from walking pace though, the slightest flex of your right foot introduces the 130 horsepower engine. The Tipo's road-going demeanour has been set up to favour relaxed comfort rather than any kind of dynamic drive. You can see why this is, after all, a car designed primarily around the needs of buyers in developing countries who simply want to get comfortably from A to B. So there's no trick suspension for fancy ride quality, torque vectoring for classy cornering, or ridiculously powerful engine options that hardly anyone will buy. Where Turin has had modern carryover technology it can use, the engines, the modular platform, the Uconnect infotainment technology, then that's been thrown into the development mix. But the overriding priority here has been in the creation of the best possible car for the lowest possible price. You'd certainly notice this Cross variant as being a little different. It'll have to be a hatch because the UK importers have decided not to continue offering the Tipo SW Estate body style here, which is a pity because the Estate variant suited the crossbody styling package quite nicely. This hatch version does its best though. Thanks to the Cross package, this variant gets silver plastic skid plate style panels at the front and rear and along the bottom of the side seals. Roof rails also make the kit list, as do smart 17-inch alloy wheels. Time to take a look inside. Given the price of entry-level models, you might not be expecting too much from the cabin experience, and sure enough, there are an awful lot of hard plastics, some of them unpleasantly shiny. But there are pluses too. This lovely stitched 3-spoke wheel, standard power lumbar support on most models, and smart circular climate control embellished with chrome and black inserts. This updated model has gained a 7-inch configurable instrument binnacle screen to replace the previous analogue dials, and it gets a larger central infotainment monitor too. There's Uconnect setup now 7 inches in size, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto smartphone mirroring options many customers will want. Still, practicality is well catered for with lots of useful stowage compartments. Time to take a seat in the back. The rear compartment, accessible via these wide opening doors that'll make it easier to lean in with things like child seats. Get in yourself and you'll find that this is another area of the cabin that's a little more spacious than the segment norm, with plenty of room for legs, knees, shoulders and heads. Finally, let's take a look at the boot space on offer. Another area where the Tipo enjoys an advantage over most of its competitors. With the back seats occupied, there's 440 litres of cargo room in this hatch. Fold the 60-40 split rear bench forward and around 1,300 litres of total space will be freed up. When the Tipo Cross first arrived in 2020, we struggled to see why you might want one. Crossover-like versions of family hatchbacks usually demonstrate the manufacturer concern's lack of properly developed, comparably sized SUV, as here. But this one had the advantage of at least being sensibly priced. Adding into it, the hybrid 48-volt engine you'd ideally want in this Tipo Cross adds a much-needed reason for purchase. But it also dilutes the strong value proposition we just referenced. If you can somehow get yourself the hybrid 48-volt version of this car at a price that's right, we could see why you might want one. As ever, it all comes down to the bottom line.